Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over a Rasial beginner guide on how to get your first kill. The topics we're going to review today is your gear, your inventory, the action bar setup needed for the kill, mechanics of the fight, and then do a walkthrough of a full kill of Rasial. If you guys think this video is helpful at the end, if you could hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, it'll be much appreciated. Thank you, and here we go. First, for the gear setup, we want to have at least tier 90 tank armor and weapons. It's not required to have tier 90, it's just highly advised. If you have tier 80 tank armor, that should be good for the first few kill setups here, so you can start getting the good feel for Rasial, but it is advised to have tier 90 weapons at least. For the perks, I will have a link in the description below for the optimal PVM perk setup. Just follow that link and follow on how to set up your armor and weapons for that. Next, you're going to want to have a Zuck cape. This is important for the death skull ability that we are going to be using throughout the fight as well. The next important item we need is the Salve Amulet E. This is good because it offers a bonus and accuracy boost against Rasial. If you don't have this, I advise doing Haunted Mine and going through Tarn's Lair to enchant it and everything, as it's important for him and Hemorrhoid as well. Next, you're going to want a Reaver's Ring or Berserker Ring. If you don't have either of these, just wear your highest necromancy damage boosting ring that you have on you. And then last is a Jaws Elder Godbook or any Elder Godbook or Godbook that you could put on here. This is mainly for the damage boost. I don't use it. I'm not going to advise you to use it as a beginner guide. Once you get comfortable, you can start using this if you want. But this is just for the +8 necromancy damage boost that you can get from it. Next, we're going to look at our inventory and summon setup. So the first thing you guys are going to want to have on you are every single necromancy rune. This is to cast Greater Bone Shield for when we need to use Reflect during the fight. I don't cast Darkness or Mark of Death, but if you are wearing full tank armor, it's advised to cast Mark of Death, but I don't find Darkness to be worthwhile here as it only dodges, I believe, like 2 or 3 of his attacks, and I don't really see the point. Next, you're going to want to have your highest tier of overload that you can bring with you. Then 3 Sarah Brews and a flask. Your super adrenaline pot or just whatever adrenaline pot that you guys have that's available. Vuln bombs to use at the beginning of the fight. And the next item is expensive spices. This is huge because every heal of blubber is increased by 50. Well, it's for all food really. But this makes the blubbers heal 150 more per fish with that necklace on, which is really big because it adds quite a few more blubbers technically, if you think about it, into your inventory. Next, we have the Power Burst of Vitality. This is kind of optional. It's not really needed, but you can have it if you want. When you're first starting out the fight, I would advise to have it on you. But once you get a few kills and understand kind of what you're doing, I would then probably take it out of your inventory and bring another blubber at that point. Next, you're going to bring your blue blubbers to almost fill out the rest of your inventory. But then the last 3 slots is going to be an Ancient Elven Ritual Shard or a Prayer Pot. And then your Enhanced Excalibur. And then last is your Ectoplasm, so you can do your conjures. And then for a summon, I use the Blood Reaver with scrolls, and I set it to every 9 seconds to use. You can use Bloodhound, but I don't care for the Bloodhound in this fight until you can start getting sub 2-minute kills or even around 1-minute kills, because the Bloodhound will die if you're sitting there for 3-4 minutes for the whole fight, where the Reaver will survive during that time and make it a lot less stressful, at least for when you're learning. Next, we're going to look at the Revo action bar. You can technically have this in 5 Revo. I have it in 6 just because it's how I'm used to having things set up. But if you do put it with 6, just make sure you uncheck the Revo can cast ultimate abilities because you don't want it to cast Death Skulls for you. But in Revo, you're going to want to put the Necromancy, the Touch of Death, the Soul ability, death skulls, and then your conjure skeleton and conjure ghost. And then the next ones you can put anywhere on the bar, doesn't really matter. Just set it up with a keybind to whatever feels comfortable to you, which is bloat, finger of death, the skeleton conjure, volley of souls, your weapon special attack, living dead, and if you have the Undead Slayer Codex unlocked, use the Undead Slayer perk. If not, don't worry about it. But with the Revo Bar, set every single one of these up to be keybound, especially the basic attacks, because during phase 4 of this fight, you will need to be spamming or using these basic attacks because you're going to have to be walking and moving at the same time. And the Revo Bar will not attack for you while you're clicking and walking away from Rasial, because you're not going to be wanting to click on a tile and click on him just to attack him. So you're going to be walking and spamming these buttons. But this is a good setup. So while you are fighting them phase 1 through 3, it will do all the basic attacks while you use your thresholds and the death skulls at that point. Also on a separate action bar, you're going to want to have hotkeyed freedom, devotion, reflect, soul split, and then also deflect necromancy. You want to have these put on there because during the fight, Rasial will shut off your prayers, well, your deflect curses. So you're going to want to have it hotkeyed so you can instantly put it back up. And then also you're going to want to have a hotkey for eating the blubberfish and also drinking the brew. This is so you can eat them both at the same time. And then that way you don't have to take your mouse off the actual fight. If you could just put it on like a V and B, so you can just click both the keys right next to each other. Next, we're going to look at our quick prayers. With this, you want to put on Deflect Necromancy and then Sorrow. If you have Rune Nation unlocked, obviously use that, but that is quite expensive, so it's easier just to put Sorrow on. Now we're going to talk about the 6 different mechanics of the Rasial fight. So the first is his Necromancy basic attacks. So with this, he will use the same basic attacks that we can use, but the difference with him is once he uses 5 basics, on the 6th attack is when he deactivates your curse. So as you can see here, he deactivates my Deflect Necromancy, and this is why you want to have it hotkeyed. So once he takes it off, you can then hotkey it back on. You can use Protect Curse or your Quick Curse again, but you'll just have to hit it twice, and it's kind of annoying at that point. The next mechanics are Soul Obelisk that Rasial spawns at 700k health. These you can completely ignore because all they do is every, I believe, like 15 seconds or so, they just give him 2 souls underneath his bar there. But you don't have to worry about these. It's just a waste of time trying to kill them. The next mechanic is Volley of Souls. So once he gets 5 souls underneath his health bar is when he'll use this. So he's going to yell out, "This is true power." And this is when you want to use Devotion or Reflect. If you use Devotion and you have your curse up, it will do only 1 damage to you during this time. If you just use Reflect, it's only going to do 50% damage. So he does around 500 to 600 for each of the 5 hits. Another one of his mechanics is the Undead Conjures. He's going to yell, "Rise my minions." This can be completely ignored, as usually when you use Death Skulls, it will kill these dudes. And by the time they even become a real threat, you should be at phase 4 at that point. Another mechanic is the Ghost Wall. He is going to yell, "Join us in death," and you'll see some ghosts pop up behind you. As you can see here, I just click around 2 tiles behind me, and you can completely not get damaged by this attack. If you do get damaged by it, it doesn't really matter what you have up. It's going to hit you between 4 to 5k damage. It does kind of hurt, but it's easy to dodge, and you will summon this quite a few times during the fight. And his last mechanic before phase 4 is a barge. There is no really big indication on when you can do this. Usually it happens when he casts his Ghost Walls twice during phase 3, and he'll barge at you. If he does barge, just use freedom, put back on your curses, and then just keep on attacking him. The last mechanic that he does is necrotic explosions. This is during the phase 4 portion. So at this point is when you're going to want to turn the walk on, so turn your run off, put your soul split on, and this is where you're going to be spamming all your basics and then just using your thresholds until he dies. This is where you'd use Mark of Death if you don't have tank or power armor on, and this is just a DPS fight and hoping you don't die from the explosions because they hit quite high during this portion. So before we enter into the fight, we're going to want to summon each of our 3 conjurers and then enter into the instance. As we enter, we're going to want to use our Ghost and Skeleton special ability. From here, walk 2 to 3 tiles forward, put your quick prayers on, use Death Skulls, and then throw your Vuln Bomb. At this point, you're going to be just DPSing with your basics on Revo until you get to 100% adrenaline. Once you get to 100%, you're going to be using Living Dead and then popping your adrenaline potion. After you're using your adrenaline potion, get up to 60% adrenaline, use Death Skulls, pop Undead Slayer if you have it, use Finger of Death, and at that point you should have enough to use Volley of Souls with 3 souls, and then you're going to save back up to 60% adrenaline. Once at 60%, use Death Skulls again, use Finger of Death because you should be around at 8 necrosis stacks, and if you have enough adrenaline, you can use Bloat at this point. If you don't have enough, just wait, use Bloat, then use Volley of Souls. At this point, you're just going to be doing your basics and saving up necrosis stacks till you can use Finger for free and saving up Volley of Souls. If you can use the Ghost Haunt ability, use it. And at that point, you're just going to be dodging the mechanics that we described earlier. So this is just a kind of sit and wait. If you're using tank armor, you're probably going to be doing this till around the 2-minute mark, maybe 2-minute 30-second. So now we're entering phase 4. This is where I run in, turn off my run, and I'm just going to be spamming each of my basics. And once I get enough necrosis stacks, use Finger, use my Volley of Souls. Once my Death Skulls is up, as you can see right now, I use that and my Undead Slayer Codex. With the Undead Slayer, it's not really required. The kills really aren't going to be much faster with this. I think they're just around 5 to 10 seconds faster. But you can see here, my insta kill kills them, and we get the drop. So once you get used to the fight, this becomes kind of easy. It's just learning the mechanics and what you need to hit every single time. So next is going to be the same kill, just without me talking, if you want to kind of look at it without an annoying person over the background. And again, if you like the video, please like, subscribe. I appreciate it. And if you guys need help, leave a comment below. Peace.